Question number 1. Say's law states that A drop in prices increases supply. B, a drop in price increases demand. C, demand creates its own supply. D, supply creates its own demand. What do you think? Give me your answers. Say is the name of a French economist. He died a long time ago. Economist. By the way, before we continue, a business is asking who is participating in the class. So these chats are recorded, as you can see in the video, and they are recorded in a text file. So at the end of the classes, we look at who answered and who didn't, and we give that report to business. So in addition to doing the online activities, which they receive on a weekly basis, business is asking who is answering the questions during the class, who's participating in the chat, and who's not. So I need all of you to give answers, or else it will mark that you are not participating. Business said logging in is not enough. They need to answer the questions. So please make sure that you answer every single question, because we count the number of answers you give. So to continue with the question, the answer is D. Mr. Say, or Monsieur Say, Mr. Say says supply creates its own demand. What he was trying, I believe, to say is don't wait for the market to demand the product. Create it, supply it. You'll create demand by supplying it. For example, before Mr. Henry Ford started creating cars in mass, cars were only for a small number of people because they were very expensive. The normal public, the normal people did not ask for cars. They wanted horses. But Mr. Henry Ford did not wait for them to ask for cars. He supplied cars at the lower prices and created the demand for it. Same thing for Apple and the iPhone. People did not ask for a phone which makes calls, browses the internet, and allows you to listen to music at the same time. People were not asking for that. Apple created it and supplied it, and thus created demand. Question number 2. When a product's price was increased from $5 to $5.50 or $5.50, its supply dropped from 1,000 units to 800 units. Its price elasticity of demand is negative 0.5, positive 0.5, negative 2, positive 2. So everybody's saying B. Let's just do this quickly. Price elasticity. Price elasticity. It's equal to change delta, change in demand over change in price. So how much was the change in demand? There used to be a demand for 1,000 units. Now the demand went down to 800 units. So the demand went down by 200 units. Originally it was 1,000. So the demand was negative 20%. The change in demand was negative 20%. Over. How much did the price change? It used to be $5. It became $5.50. So it went up by 50 cents. So it went up by 50 cents. over originally it was $5. So the change is 10%. It went up by 10%. So plus 10%. This is going to give you negative 2. So you are all wrong. Well, except for Muhammad. The answer is negative 2. Thank you, Muhammad, for your correct answer. Moving on. Well, Nidal also gave an answer now. Correct answer. The answer is C. So when it comes to calculating elasticity, the first rule you should always keep in mind is the change in demand is always on top. So what most of you did was you put price first, which is the wrong answer. So you put price, change in price over change in demand. This is going to give you plus 10% over negative 20%. So this is going to give you negative 0, which is also a wrong answer. So most of you said B. Even if you did it this way, you are still wrong. How did you get B? You probably forgot to put the negative, didn't you? One thing you should always remember about demand is that demand and price are negatively correlated. That means wherever price moves, demand moves the opposite way. If price goes up, demand goes down. Price goes down, demand will go up. So the answer should always be a negative. This is wrong. The answer is C. Moving on. A yacht would normally have a YED, otherwise known as income elasticity of demand, of 1 over 1, less than 1, close to 0. So most of you are saying B. That's right. The answer is B. Goods are usually divided into 2 broad categories. And these are, in the case of income elasticity of demand, they are the necessities of life, sometimes called the staples of life. And these have an income elasticity of demand of 1 or less. Whereas the luxury goods, an example of this is yacht, they have an income elasticity of over 1. Right? That's right, Muhammad. It's considered as luxury. Moving on. Which of the following is true in a perfect competition? 1. Sellers are price takers. 2. Sellers are price setters. 3. High barriers to entry. 4. All sellers sell the same product. So the answers are A. 1 only. B. 2 only. C. 1 and 3 only. D. 1 and 4 only. So a mixture of A and D. Ihab said C. Sorry, Ihab, no, it's either A or D. So let's go through perfect competition. Very important. And what's the opposite of a perfect competition? Who can help me? Monopoly. Thank you, guys. Yes. So characteristics. In a perfect competition, sellers are price takers. That means you have to take whatever price in the market and sell at it. Whereas in a monopoly, they are price setters. Since you are the only one offering this product or a service, you can set whatever price you want. There is nobody competing with you. So you are a price setter. In a perfect competition, there are low barriers to entry. That means anybody can sell. It's very easy to enter the market and sell the product. Whereas in a monopoly, there are high barriers to entry. It's very difficult to enter that market and compete. One last item. In a perfect competition, everybody sells the same product. The same homogeneous product. That means the product has the same characteristic. We all sell the same orange. We all sell the same banana. Same characteristic. Orange is round, sour and sweet, and it's orange in color. Since we are all selling the same product, we can't all have different prices. Price of an orange is 1 dirham in the market. You have to sell at 1 dirham. So, to answer this question, which of the following are true in a perfect competition? Sellers are price takers. This is true. 2. Sellers are price setters. This is false because this is a characteristic of a monopoly. 3. High barriers to entry. This is also false. This is a characteristic of a monopoly. 4. All sellers sell the same product. That's right. Same homogeneous product. So the answer is 1 and 4. The answer is D. Moving on. Math. Pick up your calculators. An investor expects to receive an annual payment of $200 over the next 10 years. What is the present value of the payments, assuming an inflation rate of 4%? You have 30 seconds. Actually, this might take a bit more time with you. So I'm going to give you, no, 30 seconds should be fine. So, do you have your answers? So, nice. Everybody's getting it right. So the answer is D. That's right. Now, if you remember in our classes, in our face-to-face classes, I told you that there is a quick way to answer this question. This is the present value of an annuity. In case you are wondering about the formula, so the present value of annuity. And I said it's easier to just calculate it quickly. So if it's going to receive $200 every year over 10 years, that means this investor is going to receive $2,000 in total. But I said that $2,000 across 10 years, since money loses value, what is the real value of the $2,000 after you take into consideration an inflation of 4%? So the amount is going to be a bit less than $2,000. It's quick to get the answer from the options if the answers are very far. So if CISI gives you, let's say, $900, and then $1,200, and then $1,600, and then, for example, let's say $2,000, what is lower but close to 2,000? So the answer would be 1,600, since the answers are very far. But in this case, the answers are very close. So how do we solve it? We need to use the formula for the present value of an annuity. And the formula is as follows. It's amount times 1 over the rate times, screen went blank, times 1 minus 1 over 1 plus r to the power n, close the bracket. That's the formula for it. Now, if you fill in the numbers, the amount is, sorry, my screen is blanking for a reason. The amount is $200 times 1 over the rate, 4%, times 1 minus 1 over 1 plus the rate. N is the number of years. So once you solve this, you should get D, which is 1622.18. Moving on. An investor expects to receive $1,500 every year for the rest of his life. What is the present value of these payments, assuming an interest rate of 3%? You've got 10 seconds for this one. This is very easy. Let me do the calculation quickly. Right, this is very easy. So this is the formula for it is the present value of a perpetuity, which is a forever payment, a payment you're going to get forever. So the present value of a perpetuity is the amount divided by the rate. What's the amount you're going to receive every year? It's $1,500. What's the rate? 3%. This should give you $50,000. So the answer is D. Nice. Going on. Which of the following statements is false? 1. Point and figure charts use horizontal lines to show prices. 2. Clear body candlestick means closing price was lower than opening price. 3. Bar charts use X and O to show price movement. 4. Each line on a line chart represents the security's opening price. Yes, good morning, Khalifa. I got your message above. I'm sorry I was answering your question. You're a bit late. So let's answer that. Which of the following is false? 1. Point and figure charts use horizontal lines to show prices. This is false, because point and figure charts, they use X and O. 2. Clear body candlestick. Just to remind you, a candlestick, this is a candlestick, can be one of two types. Either clear or empty, or it can be black or filled. Sorry? If it's clear, it means that the open price was low and the close price was higher. If it's shaded, that means black, it means that the open price was high and the close price was low. So a clear body, this one, means that the closing price was low. Nope, it means that the closing price was high or higher. So this is also false. 3. Bar charts use X and O to show price movements. No, bar charts use bars. This is a bar, this is the opening price, this is the closing price, this is the high, this is the low. This is also false. 4. Each line on a line chart represents the security's opening price. Nope. On a line chart, this is a line chart, every point represents the security's closing price. So this is also false. All of them are false. So the answer is D.